Today's November 20th. It's just after 7 p.m. We're calling to order this meeting of the Development Review Board. Just a quick little bit of news. If anybody is here for applications 2017-174, that's Wayne and Dixie Bailey, or 2017-173, that's for a tank farm at the Entergy property. Both of those applications have been withdrawn. I'm guessing that everybody here is applicants, so this doesn't matter. Okay. Before every DRB meeting, I give the same opening remarks to explain the procedure for the meeting and how this works. At the DRB, we hear applications for land development in the town of Brattleboro and appeals of zoning administrator decisions. Procedurally, the Development Review Board operates on the record. Broadly, that means we take a clear record of testimony from the applicant and any interested parties, and then issue a written decision with our findings. Applicants and members of the public should be aware that because we're on the record, this is your opportunity and your only opportunity to comment on and provide evidence relating to an application. If you appeal our decision to the environmental court, the court will not take or consider new evidence or testimony at its hearing. Instead, it will look at the evidence from this hearing, the regulations or applicable law, and determine if the evidence supports the findings and decisions of this board. Only interested people that participate in this proceeding may appeal a decision made by the board, so I strongly encourage all of you to speak up at this hearing. Because we're on the record, I'm going to ask that you swear or affirm that your testimony will be truthful. So if there's any chance you're going to talk at this meeting, if you could raise your right hand. Do you hereby swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in the cause under consideration will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. If anybody changes their mind and I don't swear them in, their evidence is not considered on the record. So since you're the only person here who's not sworn, if you change your mind, make sure I remember. Okay? Because then I'll just swear you in and then fine, you're good to go. Applicants require a majority vote of the full board to succeed. That means you need 4 votes for your application to pass. We generally have 7 people here. Unfortunately, we have 5 tonight, but you still need 4 votes to pass. There's one person who's out injured and one person who I think might come here. But what we generally do when we don't have a full board is we allow people to get an idea of where we stand. If it looks like you're going to get the 4 votes, we can just have the vote and you're done with it. If it looks like there's an issue, you can ask for either a continuance to the next month's meeting or for us to have the additional members watch this with videotaping and audio recording and add their votes to the pot. After taking testimony, this board will close the public hearing and may vote on your application. The board will issue a written decision within 45 days of the close of the hearing. While we may vote on an application, it is the written decision that controls the timeline for an appeal. It should be noted that the town of Brattleboro is a party with an interest in land development applications. The town does not have special status before this board. Documents provided to the board by the town planning department, town attorney, or any other town department are considered in exactly the same way as information from the applicant or any interested parties. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes from our previous meeting, which was October 30th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, I think 5-0, right? You're
Is it
abstaining?
appropriate for me, I was going to abstain because I
Sure.
wasn't a member of the board for the last meeting. I was present, but I was not a
If we
member.
only had 4 people, I would say it was inappropriate, but since we have 5 people, I'll let you abstain. Passes 4-0-1. Let's see, Mr. Bannon, has our meeting been properly warned?
Yes, it has.
Okay. Any conflicts of interest or ex parte communication? I should note that one of the applicants, Jessica Matthews, who I knew as Jessica Jones, right? Went to high school with me, we knew each other. I don't think it's a conflict of interest. So, first order of business then. Application 2017-171, James and Jessica Matthews. You've never done this before, never seen this before? So let me tell you what I'd like you to do. If you could, whoever wants to talk to us about this application, if you could sit at that table with the microphones. And both is fine.
All three.
Yes, all three.
Right. Congratulations, by the way.
Yes.
If you could just tell us a little bit about your project, and then we're going to ask you some questions about it, okay?
So the way it came about, we just had a discussion with our financial advisor over at Edward Jones when we were purchasing the building down on Canal Street. We were aware that the lower floor was at one time commercial. We just happened to have a conversation about it. His protege was looking for an office. Apparently he's having some difficulty. He's been looking since April to get an office. He wants it on Canal Street. There's an awful lot of Edward Jones is already in town, but we're going to expand and have another one. So they came out and looked at it, and they were impressed. And so we're negotiating now with Edward Jones for a contract for the first floor.
Sure.
We currently own other real estate. I've been a landlord for 8 years. So we love Brattleboro, and the building that we purchased on Canal Street, I remember it being Costume Ladies. It's a great little building. So we're just trying to do something to help Brattleboro, and the opportunity of just having an Edward Jones on Canal Street, we thought would be definitely a good addition, and potentially if the Edward Jones doesn't pan out, we'd be looking at other professional offices such as attorneys or financial advisors, some type of small business to be in that space.
Sure. And I'm happy that you're professional, you're good landlords, and that this seems to be a good business, but we're not actually allowed to judge. You could be the worst landlords in the world, and all we really care about is compliance with the
Sure.
ordinances, which is why all my next questions are going to be kind of specific. Are there going to be any structural changes to the building?
I would imagine there would be some to the inside, interior, nothing to the exterior,
Yeah, we have
or footprint.
Yeah, the interior is not our purview.
Maybe the parking lot would be probably updated.
Okay.
And we may be putting in a ramp, ADA ramp, but again, that wouldn't change the footprint.
And that'll probably just be beside the front staircase there?
Yep, or in the back, depending on what works best.
Okay. Do you know how the cars will get out onto the road? I can't-
We've already reached out to Dave Manning regarding potentially redoing the driveway. So my assumption would be is we'd probably seek his advice as to how to best utilize the parking lot that is there. There is parking along the street, but since it's a fairly well-traveled road, we want to make sure that there's enough visibility for people to be able to come in and out.
Right.
It probably, I can't foresee that there'd be numerous parking spaces, maybe 4.
Is there room on the shoulder there where if you wanted to back out and back into the shoulder, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Is there enough room to do that?
Yes, I've done that numerous times.
And you can see both ways all right? No bushes or anything in the way?
No,
Is your second story currently tenanted, or are you living there? or-
no, we are trying to rent it furnished. So we're, we just purchased the building.
We
How
took
many weeks
possession
ago?
of it November 1st,
Yeah.
so we've been getting furniture in there and figuring out how we would like to have like traveling nurses being so close to Brattleboro. So we have it furnished and trying to go that route.
So we're still in the process, and being pregnant is kind of, taking it to the time.
So the ADA improvement is going to be a ramp, you're just not sure if it's going to be front or back?
Correct.
Okay.
We're assuming that that's something that would be required for business, so that's,
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how vaguely to word the condition, because if you had it planned, I would just say do what you're doing. But if you don't have it planned, we're just gonna say you're gonna need to have an ADA compliant ramp, and you guys can figure it out.
So, previous businesses there weren't required to have that, right? Yeah, just,
I can only surmise that they weren't.
yes.
It's a smart thing to have, I'm not challenging
Right.
that, I just was curious, yeah.
because there was a computer store last, and I don't remember, there's
Like out
nothing.
or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's no signs that there was when it was Costume Ladies. There wasn't any.
Yeah, that's a good question, Tom. I don't know how they didn't have one, but
Doesn't really matter though.
A little bit sneaky, I guess.
Yeah.
So one of the things we need to require of you now is to have bikes storage somewhere.
Okay.
Just means you need a rack. And a 110 volt GFCI exterior outlet near the parking space is enough that somebody can charge their car. Any reason you guys can't do that? Okay. So that's right. The other thing is there's a street trees requirement in this zone. There's going to need to be 3 small trees planted and some front yard planting.
Okay.
And that's something, if you're comfortable about it, we can leave as a vague condition. The zoning administrator can just work out with you something that's acceptable. Sound all right?
Yes.
I mean, we can't change it, so frankly, I guess it had better, but I just want to give you a heads up on why we're asking these questions and putting some of this stuff into the permit. This is one of the areas that the new town plan changed around a little bit. How are you going to do snow removal?
We are anticipating hiring someone to do it.
Pull it out and take it somewhere else, or pile it up somewhere?
I'm
is what
gonna
I mean.
assume snow blowing is gonna be the best way to do it, because there really isn't a place to push it in, and where are we gonna push it out?
Right.
So,
So it's going to go kind of up on the hill, probably?
yeah.
And how does the drainage come off the roof? Are there gutters, or do you know?
I don't think there are gutters. But I'm not 1,000% positive.
Okay.
I know that the prior owner had done some drainage work in the back
Mhm.
for where some of the water did fall, for it to go in the opposite direction of the parking lot. But I don't know yet.
Do you, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Chairman, it looked like gutters to me right there. Just looking at the photo in the back left corner where that white line then ends partway down. I don't know what else that could be besides gutter. The way it kind of ramps off the end of the corner of the roof right there and it comes down. I don't know. Looks like a gutter to me.
Well, I mean, here, no, there's nothing
Yeah,
against gutters, but if you do have them, can it be in a place that can infiltrate rather than onto the paved surface?
We can look into all of that,
Okay.
because I can't picture it right now.
That's all right. And my other question is, if the water's coming sheeting off the, I guess it would be the south side of the roof, is it gonna be going right onto pavement here? If Manning paves it? Or will there be room to put some gravel down?
Well,
You
the
follow what I
pavement
mean?
goes right up to the foundation.
Is it paved right now, or is it gravel?
It's paved.
Oh, it is paved?
Yeah, it is paved.
Okay. I'm
Um,
sorry, the leaves in the picture make it look
Yeah,
like gravel.
Yeah,
Low-res
no,
photos,
it's
yeah.
all paved.
Yeah.
I see.
There might be some gravel in between the pavement and then the lawn.
Mhm.
But it's more, we would just wanna even everything out, because it doesn't look like it's been paved for quite some time. And if it would
Right.
need to be that we have it, that we incorporate, drainage, or, it's slightly offset so that it,
Yeah, I think we would want a little gravel there if there's work being done,
Mhm.
so that the water doesn't sheet out into the road.
yep, that makes sense.
I'm just curious, is it sort of like a triangular paving job kind of right now?
Yes,
Like longer on the building side and shorter on the other side with the diagonal? Okay. Would that be getting any bigger, or are you really just regrading?
no, we can't make it any bigger.
Okay. What's the outside lighting situation, or what will it be?
There's currently a light that comes on at dusk that's pretty large, and that's on throughout the night. There's a lighting in the back and in the front that would need to be turned on.
Is it like on the corner of the roof here?
Yeah, you can probably see it in the pictures.
Okay. Is it
It's right by
facing
the-
downward?
Yeah, it's in where the parking lot is.
Motion
That's-
activated or is it just on?
No, I think it's just on the timer.
Oh, you can see it right there.
Are you taking any steps to conserve energy?
Energy efficient light bulbs. We're gonna be probably replacing the hot water heater and probably getting one of the hybrids. We just bought 3 of those for our other property. Other than that,
Okay.
that's it as of now.
So this one exterior light here, is it shielded?
It,
Can you
it's
just-
like a big bell, so, yeah, I have no idea how we're gonna replace the light bulb when that thing goes out, but
Mm.
it's fully enclosed, but,
Okay. Did you say there was one more light?
there's one in the front and the back, by the doors,
Uh-huh.
but, you know,
Is this
we're not
just
there to turn them on.
like a little lantern that you can turn on?
Yeah, and there is lighting on the sign that's currently there now, but obviously, that's not being used.
Yeah.
That's all the questions I have. Do my fellow board members have any questions?
You have fire and carbon monoxide.
Yes.
Any members of the public have anything they'd like to say about this application? Okay. So it appears to me that it would be appropriate to approve the application with the following conditions. An ADA compliant ramp. Bicycle storage, access to 110 volt, 20 amp GFI outlet near the parking. Street trees and landscaping to be approved by the zoning administrator. Snow removal by blowing up the hill. A gravel strip if the parking lot is changed so that the water that sheets from the roof can drain downward. And energy conservation for new lighting and hot water heating, if those improvements are in fact undertaken. And no brighter lighting fixtures outside. It can't be brighter than it is right now. Does that sound all right?
I mean, yeah, fine.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is this sign associated with the structure now in the photo? Is that,
Oh, that reminds me, and if there are gutters that they can't just drain onto pavement, they've got to drain into something pervious.
I just have a question about the sign. That's existing?
Correct.
That's existing. They'll have to address the sign.
That's separate?
With Brian.
Well, yeah, they have,
Okay.
just for information, they can have 12 square feet that can't be higher, and this is for your information too, if you want to tell the people who are renting from you. It has to be, the area of the sign has to be 12 square feet. It can't be more than 8 feet tall. It can only be lit with downcast LED lighting. And there has to be, if there's a wall sign, it can't be more than 14 square feet. And they have to apply again when they do the sign. Right, yeah, once that's designed, and that's for your tenants. But just FYI.
Well, that was, I'm new, so I was curious about
Totally.
how the sign,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whether it would be part of this or would it be separate?
They could have done this all as one thing if they, for instance, were the tenants and they wanted to
Yeah.
knock it all out. They just aren't. So with that having in mind, can I get a so moved?
So moved.
Second? Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you, good luck.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Okay, the next application, and our last application, is 2017-172. Are you Emily and Harmeet? You're Emily?
My husband, we live in Boston currently, so he's back there.
Okay, sorry, I didn't want to assume.
That's my mother. I'm the mom.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I really probably should have known that was a man's name, but here we are.
You never know.
So, is it Emily Singh or Emily Singh Murphy-Kaur?
No, Emily Murphy-Kaur.
Emily Murphy-Kaur, excuse me, and this is for 241 Quails Hill Road?
Yes.
Application 2017-172. Can you tell us a little bit about your project, please?
So my husband and I are relocating from the Boston area, and we're in the midst of buying property at 241 Quails Hill Road. My husband is an engineer at Fidelity Investments. I'm a consultant in education, and we also teach yoga and meditation on the side. So we're looking to have a home business of a yoga and meditation center on the property.
Let's see. You indicated that the classes would be from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., correct?
Yes.
When you're having these classes, do you have an idea of how many people and how many cars are going to be coming and going?
I think in the first 2 years, we'd probably predict between 3 and 4 people.
If they're leaving it, I'm sorry, if they're leaving or coming when it's dark, are their lights going to be shining on your neighbors?
There's nobody across the street.
Okay, or it's screened?
Yeah.
Right. This is a fairly secluded parcel, is that correct?
It's about 13 acres.
Right.
And there's limited, I think there's only 2 or 3 houses at the end of the street. It's a dead-end street. And there's a few houses before, so it's a pretty rustic area.
Okay. How large is the actual studio going to be?
The studio would be above our garage and is approximately 500 square feet. But the ceilings do slope in, so that would take off a little bit of the square footage.
Okay. And there's no plan for you to leave the dwelling and continue operating the studio?
No?
You just have to say no because
Yeah, I just realized that, no.
So how many people do you anticipate will be staying? It says that you're looking for approval to operate an inn?
So that's not, right now we're just getting approval for a yoga center. We had considered doing them together, but I think we'll postpone that.
That's a potential possibility.
So could I ask the chair, does this on the application under 5, what work is planned under the permit? It says conditional use approval to operate in with yoga, meditation studios, accessory use. That
Right.
statement can be crossed out?
Oh, you're talking about on their application?
Yeah, on the actual application.
Well,
Because that would
Would
have been
really-
my question as well, is are we talking about an inn or are we talking about a yoga studio, or both?
since, the only thing that matters is our decision, and that's the thing that we have a draft of here.
Oh, okay.
And since Brian's decision, or the decision in its current proposed form,
Okay.
I don't think it includes anything about there being an inn, just a yoga and meditation center. So as long as they're okay with that, and as long as we're okay with that, and that's the language in the order, that's what's going to control going forward.
I guess I also had a question. The applicant said that, they anticipated about 3 or 4 people, and I'm just curious, is perhaps it's a wonderful success. And so I was just curious if it's, again, I'm new here, it's the first time serving on this board, but I mean, how many people maximum do you think could fit in the space that you were? I'm just wondering if you had, let's say 12 people wanted to come to a yoga event, for lack of a better term, would it cause parking issues? And is that our purview to ask these questions?
Yes.
So
Just
in the,
separate.
do you mean above the garage or in the parking?
I guess it would depend. I could just imagine that, let's say there was an event, and I don't know if it's realistic, if 12 people show up, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, sometimes people don't carpool. and-
Let's say both.
What?
What's the
In the
answer to
space.
both
Oh,
questions?
okay.
Yeah.
So the first question,
They're
which
both
is above the garage, I would say about probably 15 mats could probably fit. We haven't laid out the mats yet, but in 500 square feet, that seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, so we have a 3-bay garage for our own cars, and I guess an additional space because we only have 2 cars. And the parking lot, when we had the inspector out there on Friday, had 7 cars in it, and it had space for a few more. I do have pictures of the parking lot if you'd like them.
How long is the driveway? You don't have to, I mean, is it like 100 feet, is it like
It
10
actually
feet?
shows you on, one second, I'm not supposed to.
I can show you the picture.
Yeah, why don't you show us the
Okay,
picture?
sorry, because we just are in the process of buying it, so.
Well, let me ask my next question first, because it's not really, I don't really care if the answer to the next question is no, but can you park beside the driveway if there's
Yes.
a party or a big event or something like that?
There's a big grass area that's also secluded from the neighbor's house and whatnot. I think that could fit about another 10 cars.
Okay, just like my other questions, that's not shining the lights into the neighbor's property.
There's a pretty good screening of trees.
Okay. So I don't need to see the picture. If people on the board want to see the driveway, that's fine too.
Well, then we have
This
this
is, it's
photo.
right here.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
a, it's a good big flat space that's screened off, for sure.
Yeah, and that's.
No structural changes?
Yeah, and this
No
is.
structural
huge.
changes on that side.
Yeah, so it's a room. And a pool.
I don't have any other questions. Right.
So, the car charger, how much?
I don't think we have to do it in this circumstance. We don't have to do it in this circumstance. Any other questions? Okay, so hearing none,
Just one question, James. I think I've seen it listed as a 2-family home. Are you going to use it as a single-family home or continue to have an accessory apartment?
For the short time, we'll have an accessory apartment while we're fixing up one side, and then eventually we'll move over.
yeah, but that's still a single family home, as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't change anything, does it? No. Okay, I'm required to ask members of the public, even though I recognize that you're probably supportive of this application, if they have any comment.
I gotta drive home with her.
Okay, so, having that in mind, I suggest that a motion to approve the application 2017-172 should include a extension of the permissible hours of operation from 6 a.m. in the morning until 9 p.m. in the evening.
So moved. Seconded.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
I hope it goes great.
So how's summer go?
I enjoy it.
Excuse me?
I think we'll enjoy here also.
Yeah.
Have a little more
I-
space.
I worked in Somerville.
Oh, yeah?
I worked for Mike Capuano when he was mayor.
Oh, okay.
It's a beautiful spot. It's a nice
Oh,
place.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any administrative matters to discuss? Well, we should say, we need to introduce you to the people of Brattleboro. Of course, this is Ian Keel, he's our new member.
Some of them may know me.
Some of them may know you. So now between Todd Murchison and Ian Keel, we have 7 regulars and 1 alternate, which is the strongest and most robust this committee has been in a long time.
I did want to bring up one topic,
Shoot.
which was, I believe, ice cream.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
And
You will both be getting yours.
well, this is what I was hoping. One
Choose
is,
your flavor.
let's imagine that I'm in a, for ice cream anyway, a probationary period. And let me make sure I stick out till spring, and I would love to, so to speak, cash in my ice cream check when the weather's warmer.
That's
I can
fine.
wait too.
No
We
interest.
can combine our ice cream interests.
All right, well, you guys have to give me
Yes,
flavors. You have to
yes,
give me
yes.
flavors.
Oh, I want the maple.
I would suggest that you
Maple
do it
cream.
before it gets warm, because that way I can leave it in my car and give it to you after the meeting.
Ah.
But if you do that too late in the spring, it's not gonna be so good.
Late winter, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to say that I really joined this board because you said that a person who serves on this board will learn a lot about Brattleboro. And so that was probably a larger motivation than the ice cream.
And
The
you
ice
will.
cream's just the
Don't know what's going
sweetness
on.
on the top.
This property was the home of Mr. Anderson's babysitter.
When I was
But
a
you
little
didn't
little
know.
one.
And I remember when that whole road wasn't there. I mean,
Right.
I'm not that old, but I do know Brattleboro somewhat.
Sure. Any other administrative matters, Brian?
No, I was talking to the state wetland coordinator and talking to her about our new regulations for wetlands. She was curious about that. And I asked her if she would maybe be willing to come down and do a training exercise in the springtime.
That would be super. Do we still have Larry Slason's training slideshow on variances?
Yes, we do.
Can we provide it to Mr. Keel and Murchison?
Sure will. Yep.
One of the things we come across in this board is requests for variances, which in many places in this country are routine, but in the state of Vermont are a more complex issue. And this is a very helpful presentation to explain why and how to consider them. I'm sure one will come up at some point.
And this training is unique then to Vermont situation.
Very unique
Yeah.
to Vermont situation,
Yeah,
and
it was excellent.
packed
training.
with legal facts.
Okay.
And to keep us in tune when it is, and I'll plan on it.
Well, we, unfortunately, it would be asking a lot for this attorney to come down and do the same thing twice, but his presentation was both really informative and easy to understand. So I'm gonna have Brian just send you his presentation.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it'll take you 15,
Yeah, yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's voluntary. I'm not ordering you to
Oh.
do it by any means, but if you're interested in understanding one of the
Yeah,
more
sure,
testing
check
things,
it out, yeah.
Okay.
it's something that is helpful to learn.
Now, if an applicant comes forward asking for a variance, they're essentially saying, we'd like you to disregard the rule? Is that?
Disregard the law would be a better way to put it.
Okay, sounds like this presentation.
But there is a circumstance in which it can happen. It's just a much more narrow circumstance than, like, New Hampshire, for instance.
Okay.
And this board has the power to make a variance to the law? Or
It
is that
depends.
For the select board or something?
No,
No.
well, I mean, we don't change the law, but we tell an
Right.
applicant, you can do this thing that would otherwise be unlawful. But as I said, very narrow set of circumstances. We've never done it in my, how long have I been on the board? 5 years?
Longer, maybe.
In my more than 5 years on the board.
And obviously, an interested party could then appeal that decision. If-
Weren't you on
Yep,
planning
or the
commission?
town.
Because I'm planning commission, weren't you on planning commission?
Yes, I was on the planning commission then, but I didn't really know anything
Yeah.
about variances because
Yeah.
it's actually from state statute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So we didn't really deal with it.
Yeah.
Any other administrative questions or anything you want to say to our fresh-faced youngsters?
Fresh face, thank you.
Well, so I'm
Welcome.
available before meetings if you need to review anything, give me a call. So,
Can we talk about access to the building?
yes. So the building currently is being locked down after the regular business hours because there are no longer police in the building. And we don't have live monitoring of video cameras. I'll be trying to open it up at around 6, no later than 6:30.
So if you get here before 6:30, you might get locked out.
Full disclosure, I actually have an authorization code to come into the building. I've signed waiver to have that authorization code, and that's because I work for BCTV, and I'm often dropping equipment off at late hours.
I see.
So, the oath said I can't let anyone else in though. So,
Unbelievable.
maybe I could ask them if I could get a variance and allow another DRB member to enter the building with me.
Nice, bragging, ice cream.
Yeah, I attested that I would only let myself in with that code.
To all the town officials who are watching this meeting still, we would like access codes, please. Motion to adjourn?
So,
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Future meetings will not always be this easy.
I know.
Yeah.
Just
We have
FYI.
not got a